Welcome to Arlington County's tutorial for how to submit a fire protection system permit application. On the screen is the ePlan Review Portal, the online system for submitting a fire permit, which can be accessed by going to building.arlingtonva.us. If this is your first time using the ePlan system, please click on Register for an account to sign up for the system. This is a separate account from the Permit Arlington system or the inspection system. Once you have created and registered for an account, please click on Sign In. Please enter your username and your password to log into the system, and then it will take you to this home screen, which you see each time you log in. You can see the permits you've started or submitted here. You can see some general information such as the project ID, the address, the date created, and the status. The status will tell you things like it's in processing, missing required documents, it's been returned and requires revisions. And you can see more detailed information such as due dates and how many reviews have been conducted by clicking on the folder icon to open it. To submit a new permit application, please click the drop down on the far left side of the screen to select the type of project or permit. In this case, this tutorial is for fire permits, so we're going to select Trade Permit Fire. Then we are going to click on the Add Project button beneath that. This will take you to the permit application. Start by entering your username. By entering this, you'll be able to pull up contact lookup information if you've entered that earlier. If you haven't entered any contact lookups, don't worry, you can still enter all of that information manually on the application. Next, select yes or no for if there is an associated building permit for this fire protection system permit. If you select yes, a field will pop up for you to enter the building permit number. While a building permit's not required for the fire protection system permit to be processed, it does help to correctly associate the fire permit with the rest of the project if the building permit number is provided at this time. Please note if there are multiple building permits, then a separate fire permit application should be submitted for each building permit. In addition, multiple fire permits can be associated with one single building permit. For example, in a 20-story building that has one building permit, you could have one fire permit for each floor. For the purposes of this tutorial, we are going to select no for the associated building permit. Next, there's a question about the type of building this project is located within. This question is used to determine if the project is considered residential or commercial according to the Virginia Uniform Statewide Building Code. I will select no for this tutorial because the majority of fire permits are commercial, so typically the answer to this question is no. This tutorial is also applicable if the answer is yes to this question, but some different questions may appear throughout the application. Next, select the permit holder. That is the person who's responsible for the work done under this permit. Depending on which of these options is selected, certain fields may be required on the application, or certain forms and documents will be required to be uploaded. This will be identified on the application. For more information about permit holder, please visit the website building.arlingtonva.us. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to identify the permit holder as the contractor. Next, we're going to fill out the job address and tenant number. Please make sure you fill out the full address and the units and floors if they're applicable. Please make sure that you also fill out the full tenant or homeowner information. Please don't provide only the first name, for example. Now, if this is a replacement for an entire building or multiple floors with multiple tenants, you can put entire building or all tenants floor through one in these fields. Now, you may have noticed that some fields have a red asterisk next to them. Those are fields required to be filled in before the form can be submitted. I'm purposely not going to fill in these two forms for the tenant information, so you can see what happens when we try to submit without required fields filled in. If the permit holder is the contractor, please fill out these fields for the contractor name, address, state license number, and business license. These will be required. If the permit holder is not the contractor, please leave these fields blank. Now, please make sure to fill out this information as it appears on the Virginia Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation website, also known as DPOR. If the permit holder appears differently than it does on the DPOR website, we will reject and return the application. Please also be sure to enter a business phone number that we can easily reach you at in the event of inspections or questions about your application. For the Arlington County Business License field, either an Arlington County Business License or reciprocity is required. If you do not have either of these for the current year, please contact the Arlington County Business Tax Division to obtain one or the other before submitting. Please enter the business license number in this field only if you have an Arlington County business license. If the contractor has reciprocity, please upload the email from the Arlington County Business Tax Division confirming reciprocity and fill in zeros in this field. Next, fill out the legal owner fields. Please make sure to fill out the legal owner information as it appears on Arlington County's real estate assessment website. A link to that website can be found here in the application so that you can look up the legal owner information by address. If there are multiple job addresses according to real estate assessment, then a separate fire permit application must be submitted for each address where the work is occurring. Please make sure to fill out the name as well as the contact street as it appears in Arlington County's real estate assessment records. If the legal owner does not match Arlington County real estate assessment records, please upload a signed copy of the deed or closing disclosure documents. Next, please provide a brief description of the work. The purpose of this is to make sure that the scope of work for the fire permit matches with any of the information filled out below, as well as with the building permit if one is provided. For this example, I'm going to write tenant renovation, upgrading fire alarm, fire sprinkler system. Next, I'm going to fill out the applicable VSUBC or Virginia Statewide Building Code edition. Then I'm going to select the drop downs that further define the scope of this project. Either this is an alteration to an existing system or this is a new system. If the scope of work for your contract includes both, two separate permit applications will be required. One application for the alterations to the existing system and one application for the new systems. In this case, I'm going to select alteration to existing system. Next, please specify whether this permit is for a fire suppression system or a fire alarm system. If you select fire alarm system, a series of questions will appear about whether this is a redesign of a system or a newer replacement fire control panel system. Please answer yes or no, and then fill in the numbers for all the fields that appear. Please also make sure to include, regardless of whether these are new or redesigned systems, the total number of initiation devices, signaling devices, and booster or extender panels. If the permit is a fire suppression system, the next thing that you will be prompted with is what type of suppression system. Again, if your contract includes both a fire suppression system and a fire alarm system, two separate fire permit applications are needed for those two separate systems. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to select fire suppression system, and then we're going to select a water-based sprinkler system. Depending on which of these you select, different questions will appear. For water-based or chemical-based sprinkler systems, we ask you to fill out a series of counts or numbers related to the work. Depending on which drop-down is selected, different questions will appear. Continue throughout the application by clicking on any checkboxes, selecting yes or no to any questions, and then filling out each of the boxes that appear with the appropriate numbers for the scope of work. If your work doesn't include an item, please put no or 0 in the field required. Often, multiple fields will show up, as you can see here that we have sprinkler heads, standpipes, fire pumps, and fire service included. Please fill out the counts for the fields that apply, and then fill in 0 for things that don't apply. For example, I'm going to put 30 sprinkler heads and 1 standpipe that serves 15 floors, but I'm going to put 0 fire pumps and 0 fire services installed for this application. I'm also going to put the square footage for the area of work that the sprinklers cover and determine whether there are any design calculations or not that need to be provided as part of this sprinkler system. How these questions are answered will determine whether the project qualifies for an express shortened review time or not. They will also determine the permit fees. Finally, please fill out the other information, which is the contract cost, as well as this field that if the permit includes any other fire systems, features, or equipment not listed above. You only need to fill out this information if something has not already been accounted for in the boxes above. Otherwise, please leave this field blank. Finally, please fill out your information as the applicant. Please make sure you include an email address that you check regularly. This is how all communication will be done through the system, whether that's rejection comments, requests to pay fees, or status updates. Again, please make sure that the business phone number that you provide is something that we can reach you at should we have any questions. Finally, select which role you have for this project. If you're a contractor, please pick contractor. If you are a permit expediter or submitter, please pick other. Please pick the thing that most closely matches, and depending on who the permit holder is and who the applicant is, additional documentation may be required. If that's the case, help text will appear below this field once you select your role. Now, you can see here at the bottom right corner, there is a Save Progress and Return Later button. If you scroll all the way up to the top of the application, that same button is available. If you need to check with someone about some of the fields here, before you're ready to submit the application, you can always click this option. It allows you to save what you've filled in and return at a later date to fill in more detailed information. Once you've filled in all of the application, please click Add in the lower right-hand corner or in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and click Add in the lower right-hand corner now. In this case, the system won't let the permit application be submitted without all of the required fields filled in. Now I'm going to scroll back through my application to see what fields did I miss. These will be bright red. Remember, I left the tenant information blank to demonstrate this. Now that I've filled in all the missing fields, I should be able to click Add. A new screen will appear, and it may take a few minutes depending on your internet connection. You will see that waiting icon or this spinning on your browser. Now you can see the new page loading. You'll notice in the upper left-hand corner here, there is a project ID that starts with the word fire. This is what you can reference throughout the permit submission and plan review process. If you scroll down to your application you can see a new field called System Information. And again, towards the right-hand side, you can see the project ID. And a permit number will be provided once the application has been accepted and processed in for plan review. Before the permit can be submitted for review, plan documents are required. That can be accessed by clicking on the Plan Documents tab in the upper right-hand corner here. This lists the required documents for upload. There is a separate tutorial for how to upload plans and other required documents. There are requirements that are critical to processing your permit outlined on the website and in that tutorial video, such as how to name the files or the fact that each set of the plans, each sheet within them, must be its own individual PDF. So a plan with 10 sheets should be uploaded as 10 individual PDFs. Although something like design calculations or specification sheets can be uploaded as one PDF per set. So if you have 3 sets of design calculations that are each multiple sheets, those could be uploaded as 3 separate PDFs for the 3 separate sets of design calculations. Again, please watch the video tutorial for how to upload plans for detailed instructions. This step will need to be completed before you can click on the bright green Submit for Review button in the upper right-hand corner. The permit will not be processed or reviewed until it has been submitted for review. To learn more about the steps of processing your permit application, how to submit revisions, how to schedule inspections, or other information, please visit building.arlingtonva.us.